See what I mean? Like, this is literally about the means of execution and not about if he's actually going to get to that point or not. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer.
Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged.
Okay, we've sort of talked about this in passing in previous videos when it comes to all these new documents in the Idaho 4 case. Now, they're not like new. It's stuff that's been posted over the past 3 weeks or so, and there's just so many postings that we're just trying to go through them as much as we can before we have our hearing in the Idaho 4 case on November the 7th. That's next week. The one that we're going to go over now, which you guys know from the title and the thumbnail, is the one about Barbara Wolf. I find it kind of interesting that they've been able to bring her in on this case because of who she is. And I didn't know who she was until I listened to Andrew D. Meyer's YouTube channel video about her. And yeah, she was on the O.J. Simpson case. And I don't know a lot about the O.J. Simpson case. I just know that the majority of the world thinks that he did it. So the first one that we're going to go over is going to be the state's objection to Barbara Wolf actually testifying. I haven't read it. I don't know what the reasoning is, so let's take a look. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latell County prosecuting attorney and hereby objects to the proposed testimony of Dr. Barbara C. Wolf in support of defendant's method of execution claim. That's what this one's for. Okay. As the state explained in its response, defendant's method of execution claim is not ripe for judicial determination, which means Dr. Wolf's testimony does not satisfy Rule 702 of the Idaho Rules of Evidence because it will not help the tier of facts to understand the evidence or to determine a fact in issue. She's like an actual forensic pathologist. So whenever they're talking about like method of execution, that's like if they're actually thinking that he's going to end up getting the death penalty. And I don't know why they're going that far right now, because if they really feel like Bryan is innocent, then why aren't they working on the case fact? Okay. So according to this article, it says that the defense is set to bring Dr. Wolf in to undermine the death penalty and the prosecution's effort to tie Kohberger to the scene of the crime. Okay, the death penalty and actually tying Bryan to the crime are two completely separate things, in my opinion. The death penalty is a broad spectrum that is a conversation across the board. In order to pin or tie Bryan Kohberger to the crime scene, that's a one very specific situation. The defense has maintained that the mere presence of Kohberger around the victim's house on the night of the incident was inconclusive. His lawyers argue that he was usually in the habit of going for drives at that time. So they're going back to that part. But that's also where we get the other expert testimony of Cy Ray, because he's claimed that he's actually seen all of the discovery up until the point where he testified. And even though he has kept his right to change his opinion, at this point in time, everything that he is seeing is exculpatory to Bryan. So considering that this is another very high profile expert witness, I mean, I guess that's why Thompson would be, shaking in his boots a little bit, I guess. But I don't really quite understand why the state thinks they can just say, you can't have your witness testify for you. I mean, I know they might not like it, but can they really stop you from defending yourself in the way that you want to? Oh, well, look at the Menendez brothers. I guess they can. And then it states that Dr. Wolf's testimony is going to be addressing legal and ethical issues around the death penalty in Idaho, which again is a broad spectrum conversation and doesn't have anything to do with the case itself. See what I mean? Like, this is literally about the means of execution and not about if he's actually going to get to that point or not. So is she going to actually be looking at evidence and doing her actual forensic pathologist thing? Or is she just going to be talking about the death penalty? Because in O.J. Simpson's case, it looks like she actually analyzed evidence. Like she actually looked at for real case evidence. I guess we'll find out come court on 11/7 if she's actually able to testify, because they have given her permission to zoom in. On 10/16, the court went ahead and gave permission. They moved this court for an order permitting remote participation at the motions hearing currently scheduled for November 7th, and it is for Barbara C. Wolf to zoom in from Florida. And then a few days later, it was approved by Judge Hippler that she can totally be there. It says Barbara C. Wolf shall be allowed to participate remotely at the motions hearing currently scheduled for November 7th. So then after the state's already been like, no, we don't want her there, the court has now approved her being there. The defense has now posted their response to the state not wanting her there. And it's really just straight and to the point. Comes now Bryan C. Kohberger, by and through his attorneys of record, and submits the following reply to the state's objection to testimony from Dr. Wolf. The state's objection is based on its objection to his motion as to the method of execution statutorily permitted in Idaho, which is in part that it is premature. Mr. Kohberger has replied to that argument and relies on that argument here as to why the court should permit Dr. Wolf to testify. And they're just talking about the original document up here from in September. They actually posted their witness list was first right here, the expert witness list. And as you can see, this is long. This is 54 pages. And the majority of it is Barbara Wolf's credentials, as you can see. CV, B Wolf, PDF. Is it just going to go straight to it, or is this straight to it? I guess this is. This entire thing is her. Okay, I'm just going to do this. That's way too freaking slow. We're going to go like this. This is all Barbara Wolf. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. Keep it on going. I did not read through all of this. When I did that 4-hour-long video and we went through all of these documents that got posted at this exact same time, we wasn't reading all this. Do you see all this? How does this woman even sleep? Look at all this. Look at this. It's still her. 35 pages in. It's still Barbara Wolf. Okay? Still Barbara Wolf. Still Barbara Wolf. 40 pages. Still Barbara Wolf. Finally, we get to page 45, and it's finally the information on the other expert witness. So, yeah, I mean, I can see why the state would be like, hold up, wait a minute. But I also am kind of agreeing with their argument, because she's coming in to talk about the frickin' death penalty. And I would have loved this a hell of a lot more if she was coming in to talk about the evidence. So I don't really know how I feel about this argument, guys. I don't really know how I feel about this witness. I don't really know how I feel about this whole subsection of this situation at this point in time. Because like I said, I really feel like she should be talking case fact evidence stuff like an actual forensic pathologist does. Anybody can sit there and have an argument about the death penalty. We have lots of arguments right now for it in Idaho because of everything going on in the Creech case and the irony of the fact they're going to try to re-execute him on November 13th. So in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to hit 2 years since this happened. And we have more questions now than we started with. Insane. Absolutely insane. But I want to know what you guys think about this portion of this down in the comments. Do you agree that it's a little strange that they're sitting here arguing about the death penalty? Shouldn't she be in here doing forensic pathologist stuff, which is like evidence? That's what I feel. That's just me, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you were not subscribed already. And don't forget to make sure that your notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.